Even before Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos became the richest person in the world, there are plenty of billionaires or even trillionaires who have come before them. Have you ever wondered what the list of the richest people in history might look like? Today, we bring you this list of the top 10 richest people in history. William I, also known as William the Conqueror, was born around 1028. He was the King of England from 1066 to 1087. He established himself as the most powerful noble in France through his successful suppression of rebellions. His estimated wealth peaked at approximately $230 billion. So how did he become so rich? Well, William aimed to generate revenue in his kingdom by imposing taxes on the Saxons. William the Conqueror's castles, numbered over 700, were built during that time, and they were spread all over England and Wales. William is also known for his lavish lifestyle and was to fancy clothes and pieces of jewelry. When he died in 1087, people took his pieces of jewelry and his clothes off and left him naked in his own grave. In just his early 40s, Mir Osman Ali Khan had a staggering net worth of $236 billion, enabling him to live a lavish lifestyle. Khan ruled Hyderabad from 1911 until it acceded to India in 1948. The jewels he owned in the 1930s were worth $150 million, equivalent to almost $3 billion today. His collection even included one of the biggest polished diamonds, known as the Jacob diamond. He reportedly used the diamond as a paperweight. In 1947, India's richest man gifted the diamond necklace to Queen Elizabeth II. Maybe he planned to court her during those times. During his reign, he brought electricity, trains, and airplanes to the region. He was also well known for giving a large portion of his wealth to religious and educational institutions all over India. Nicholas Romanov has an estimated net worth of $300 billion. As the Emperor of Russia, Nicholas II had access to substantial wealth and resources, and he was known to spend it on a variety of items. The Romanovs enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, spending their money on fine clothes, expensive jewelry, and other luxury items. Unfortunately for them, one of the reasons they were killed was because of their wealth. On July 17, 1918, the royal family members and their staff were woken and told they were being transferred. The Romanovs were taken to the basement of their house, where they were met by a firing squad. Andrew Carnegie led the expansion of the American steel industry in the late 19th century and became one of the richest Americans in history. He has a net worth of $309 billion. Besides funding libraries, Carnegie funded thousands of churches and organizations in the US and globally. After the war in his country, Carnegie decided to leave the railroad business and began to establish his own ironworks company. Carnegie believes that he and other wealthy Americans had a responsibility to use their resources for society to benefit the greater good. So that's why he donated $4.8 billion to charities. He left a small portion of his wealth to his family, to his housekeeper, nurse, maid servant, and butler. Jacob Fugger, known as Jacob the Rich, has an estimated net worth of $400 billion in current dollars, which is equal to 2% of Europe's GDP at that time. Jacob's parents run a business in Italy that trades in textiles. This is the reason why he wants to help his parents get out of poverty by starting his own business. Because of the talent he has in investment, he used it to further increase his income. From what he earned from his business, he reinvested them in different businesses. Of course, he has an extravagant life. He builds homes and spends millions of dollars on art, jewelry, and fine clothing. His own house was a 4-story modern Renaissance structure with fireplaces and water fountains in each room at the time. John D. Rockefeller was an American business magnate and philanthropist who lived from 1839 to 1937. Rockefeller made his fortune as the co-founder of the Standard Oil Company, which dominated the oil industry in the late 19th and early 20th century. At its peak, Standard Oil controlled up to 90% of the oil refineries in the United States, giving Rockefeller a vast fortune. By the time of his death, Rockefeller's net worth was estimated to be around $1.8 billion, which would be equivalent to nearly $400 billion in today's dollars. In addition to his business success, Rockefeller was also a prominent philanthropist, giving away vast sums of money to various charitable causes throughout his life. Akbar the Great, also known as the Greatest Mughal, was India's third Mughal emperor from 1556 to 1605 and the man behind Pax Romana. He held significant power and controlled 25 to 30% of the world's GDP at that time. With a personal fortune of $4.6 trillion, he put a lot of effort into expanding his empire, known as the Mughal Empire. At the end of his rule, Akbar launched new military campaigns, successfully capturing the Kashmir region in 1586, Sindh in 1591, and Kandahar in 1595. Akbar's wealth is somewhat of a mystery, but it's known that he controlled 25% of the world's GDP for many years. His palace was reported to have had intricate carvings, small paintings, and extremely rare furniture. Augustus Caesar was the first emperor of the Roman Empire and ruled from 27 BCE to 14 CE. Augustus inherited a vast fortune from his adoptive father, Julius Caesar, which he then used to consolidate his power and establish the Roman Empire. He also had control over a significant portion of the empire's wealth, including its vast territories, vast amounts of land, and numerous businesses. He built impressive palaces, monuments, and public works projects throughout the empire, showcasing his wealth and power. It's estimated that Augustus' wealth reached over $19.2 billion. This amount was further augmented by the vast amount of wealth that flowed into the empire through taxes, trade, and other revenue sources. Augustus Caesar's power played a significant role in establishing the Roman Empire. Shizong of Song ruled from 1067 to 1085. He is considered one of the most mysterious and second men in history. He governed during a time of great wealth and prosperity in China, where farmers were given land for rice production. The Song dynasty was also a commercial powerhouse, being the top producer of bronze. His dynasty controls 30% of the world's GDP. Although Shizong's fortune is estimated to be in the trillions, an exact figure is difficult to determine due to his control over his wealth. He was known for his charitable giving and established a tax collecting system that improved the lives of the poor. Mansa Musa was an African king who ruled the Mali Empire in the 14th century. Mansa Musa's wealth was largely derived from the control he held over the trans-Saharan trade routes, which linked West Africa to the Mediterranean and the rest of the world. The Mali Empire was rich in gold, and Mansa Musa was said to have controlled an enormous gold mine in the region. In 1324, Mansa Musa embarked on a famous pilgrimage to Mecca, which further solidified his wealth and status as a wealthy ruler. During his journey, he is said to have spent so much gold that he caused significant inflation in the economies of the cities he visited. Today, Mansa Musa's wealth is estimated to be around $400 billion in modern-day currency. His legacy has had a lasting impact on the world, and he remains an important figure in the history of West Africa and the world.